Hi, welcome back to another episode of Cooking More with Less. My name is Selena Cordova, and this evening we're gonna have a really simple, light dish. Oh wow, it is the 22nd. I am born on the 22nd. Bak bak to all the number 22s. Bak bak to all the number 22s. Bak bak. Okay, Asian. We're gonna do a nice little Asian, kind of like sesame Thai, really simple vegetable vegan infused dish. So the one thing that I wanted to do real quick, it's I think the most difficult thing about this sometimes is like showing the ingredients because I don't have like the panoramic camera, but that's okay. We're gonna work around this. Mushrooms, scallions, Japanese eggplant, ginger, garlic, and all the other stuff I'll show you as we go along. So I have some kale cut up in the background. One thing I want to show you guys, I already boiled my noodles down, as you can see. The thing about cooking really is just thinking about what you like, what your palate likes, and figuring out how to infuse it with the least headache. So one thing I wanted to show you, because I do try to prepare as much as I can before I start, is the actual noodles. It's just a regular wheat LoMein. You can use the rice noodles as well, but I did want to go a little glutinous tonight and get some chunk in. I'm using the Kale noodles. Basically, you just boil a pot of water like you're going to make spaghetti, and you throw that bad boy in there. The trick with that, you have to consistently stir with a little bit of olive oil to keep the noodles from sticking. Consistently stir it up for the first 2 minutes. They only take about 4 or 5 minutes to cook. You know, I like mine a little bit more on the al dente side than the tender, like soft side. But know how you like your noodles. Boil 4 minutes max. Rinse out in a colander, of course. And what I do is I use like a bowl. I always have a bowl handy. Fill it with cold water. Throw your noodles in after you rinse it out, just to make sure they separate nice and they stay really fresh. So that's the science on the noodles. We're gonna get to, the main thing I think about any type of, especially Asian cooking or Thai or anything, is how they make that sauce. There's always some succulent, really tasty, good sauce. So we're gonna try to recreate that without buying like hoisin or, anchovy fish or all the all the stuff in the grocery store. You could pretty much freak on your own. So I'm gonna show you how to do it. Basically, we're gonna do like a mango ginger, right? So just gonna take a piece of mango, cut that up, and we're gonna use this as the base of our like seasoning. So, kind of make like your own homemade sauce. So all I'm doing right now is taking off the skin of the mango, and I'm gonna cut it up fine. Some people blend it, because you can make it real saucy and infuse your ginger and all that good stuff. But I kind of like it a little chunky because it melts down in the pan. So I'm just going to use a quarter of mango, and I'm going to show you guys how small I cut it. So that's basically the thing with cooking. Again, it's just figuring out how to infuse certain flavors to kind of bring home that restaurant style or whatever style, you like. So again, just some garlic I already cut up. And the garlic that I like using, let your garlic, sometimes people throw garlic out when it starts to like get these stems and ferment. That's not ferment, but grow like sprouts, literally. That's a good thing. Keep your garlic when it's like that. It's really full of antioxidants. And, I think my base in everything that I cook, in terms of like, cooked foods and meals that are vegan based, I do use a lot of seasoning just to bring out the flavors of the greens. So again, we just cut up some mango, some garlic, and I'm just gonna slice a piece of ginger. We're gonna go ahead and slice that off. The skin is what we're cutting off. So, one thing I laughed about the other day, someone's like, my gosh, do you ever run out of ideas, or do you ever get to a place? No, that's the joy of cooking. You don't get scared of sharing what you know. And the more you share, the more you kind of like start at ground zero to be able to say, okay, how can I freak this a little different? Or what special flair can I, add? And that's with anything. You shouldn't be afraid to share what brings you joy and what you're good at, or what you like doing. So basically I just cut off all the skin, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use this knife right here, but I'm going to show you how fine I get the ginger. Literally like very, very fine. Just use a really, you can use a smaller knife. I don't have a lot of knives, but I have some good ones. Back in the day, I used to work for Takeout. I think everybody did in college, but in Syracuse, it was one of my 3 jobs. I had so much jobs in college, but you do what you gotta do to get to where you need to go. So I have a couple of those knives left, and they're great. So what I'm doing is I'm just slicing up some ginger, making my own stock, like my vegetable sauce stock, and we're gonna go ahead and add that in the pan. So we did the mango, the garlic, the ginger. What I'm gonna go ahead and do right away is, funny enough, what I usually do is I'll show you guys just so that you can see the process. Measuring cup, little dash of Bragg's, not too much at all. It's not even 2 tablespoons. But if you want to be a little fly, you can put it in a measuring cup. Get all the juices in there. Add some seasonings. So I'm just looking at it so I can be more precise and telling you guys about how much. So that's a little more than a half a cup. Get all your stuff in there. I'm gonna go ahead and cut up some scallions to add a nice little onion flavor. So, one thing that I laughed at is when you do enjoy what, cooking, or just, I enjoy eating. So I always said to myself, if I like eating and I want to eat good food, I gotta learn how to make my own meals. So that's literally what I've done. And that's exactly why I turn off the camera and come back, because I like making eye contact with you guys. So that's basically what I'm doing, is just cutting up a little bit of scallion. I'm about to throw this in the pan. I'm gonna cut up our mushrooms. So just cutting up all of our greens, all of our vegetables necessary, throwing it in there. But yeah, you don't get to a place where you feel like you expire. You always want to, have new and fresh ideas. And the way you do that is literally by sharing and by testing stuff out and saying, does this taste good? Do I like it? Don't I? All that good stuff. So, pan. Stove is right underneath me. I'm going to add a little bit, click, a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Again, you can use, someone asked a great question, why canola? Canola's great for frying like potatoes, or if you want, French fries or something, but I try to stay away from like certain tropical oils. I do try to just stick to extra virgin olive and coconut. And then of course, they have these new little good ones now that, let me show you. Like, you have your little grape seed, and they have nice little stuff that you can spray if you have like omelets or whatever. So, you want to think about your oil base and, of course, what you're putting in your foods. So again, that's my little seasoning cabinet. I'm going to use a little hot sesame oil that's got some red chili pepper flavor in it. So it's a little spicy. I won't do too much. But just inundate the bottom of your pan with a little bit of oil, of course. And we're going to get going and throw all that good stuff in. I can actually start cutting up my eggplant. And it's weird because I'm used to cutting off the camera, but I don't necessarily have to. People that don't want to watch the whole process, you can forward it real quick. And I might even cut it just so you don't hear me going through all this. But I think that's part of the journey and the process. It's not always showing the end result or what it looks like, but I actually enjoy, being able to show people like, the journey and not buying cut, mushrooms, and just saving a little bit of money by being aware of how you can. So the stove is heating up with this little bit of oil. I'm about to throw in just the eggplant, cut it up nice. I'm not going to use the whole thing. I'm just going to use about half. And, I love cooking. I love eating. And I pray that one day, funny enough, someone was like, well, what's your, favorite? I don't really have a favorite meal. And one thing I do think of is having someone cook for me. It's funny, you would say, what, girl, no. I have had great conversation through food. So, you think about the great things and you think about where you are. And I'm sure a lot of women experience just cooking and being the main chefs in their homes. But as much as I've tried and said, here, let me show you how to make this, make that, some people stick to what they know or don't want to necessarily be in the kitchen. So that's something that I had to kind of suck up and say, you know, out of 15 years, it would be really nice to have a meal cooked for me just to see how someone else's, you know, flavors thing. But rather than wait for that, I just continue to cook and figure out how to, you know, make other people happy through food. But it's such an extension of your soul in a sense. It's such an extension. So, you know, those that are figuring out how to make little meals and saying, hey, I'm going to take either, you know, watch something on YouTube or whatever it may be, hats off to you, man, because not everyone is motivated. But, you know, what we do is we highlight the things that all of our family members do well, and you know, you communicate. You say, hey, it would be nice, I would like, and hey, let me show you. But, you know, as that goes on, you figure it out for oneself. So we're doing it up. We have the all of our base vegetables in. The only thing I'm gonna add right now is our mushrooms. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those rinsed off, add that in. All I'm doing is sauteing everything. All the flavors, you're gonna be able to really smell the aromatics in your kitchen. So the last 2 ingredients that I'm gonna throw in at the end are going to be the mushrooms, the kale, and then when everything is cooked down and nice and juicy and succulent, I'm gonna add the noodles on top of that, mix it all together, and you have a really, really nice, simple, vegan-infused eggplant, mango, ginger, mushroom, like LoMein. So it's kind of like a pad thai without the curry and without all the other stuff. So, but yeah, I say that to say, you know, it's not to say you don't try or you don't encourage people to do certain things, but know where your strengths are and be okay with them. And I've always been very grateful and very thankful that I've had great conversation and great, you know, great company. So with that, it's to say, of course, it would be nice to have it, but in the meantime, you continue to figure out ways to excite your palate. So cut up some of those mushrooms. Sounds like somebody's right out front my door, but it's the neighbor. I can hear them. And the only thing we're going to do with this, as you can see, mushrooms, all the good stuff. Only thing we're going to add to this is a little bit. We don't really need a lot of seasonings from your cabinet because all of the mango and the garlic and the ginger do the trick. So I'm going to let this cook down for a second and come right back. Okay, we are back and everything is cooked down beautifully. Wanted to just show you guys how it looks. We are pretty much done. So what I'm gonna do towards the very end is I throw a couple of water chestnuts in there. If you don't like water chestnuts, you don't have to use them. But again, flavor, texture, I like a little bit of crunch. If you do eat fish, that is the only, you know, the only thing I do cook in terms of meat. But I didn't make any fish tonight. I actually haven't been eating as much as I usually do just because it's the summertime. So I've been making stuff for Amor, but not really for myself in terms of fish. I don't really feel like I eat it right now. But go ahead and drain out those water chestnuts. And again, you have some nice kale to throw in on top so you don't leave out your calcium, your folic acid, your vitamin C. And all the ingredients in here are really, really good for the summertime. If you're suffering from like any type of colds, make sure you throw some ginger in your food. It'll really, really make a difference. Have fun with what you make and keep it simple. Again, what's great about this is that we're not using any type of store-bought sauce. You know, so often people buy these store-bought sauces and they have so many unnecessary things in them. Most of it is just caramel and salt and you know, a lot of preservatives that your skin and your body don't need. So again, you want to stick to stuff that's going to keep your skin really fresh. I'm going to go ahead, throw in some kale right at the top of this. And I rinsed this kale off for a while already and I drained it as much as I could. And it was bought whole. You know, they do have the cut kale in the store. And again, one thing that I've realized and noticed is that the cut kale, the ends of your kale will dry out because the kale, like any tree or plant, it's freshest when it's not broken or not cut. As soon as you cut it, you release all the juices and all the goodness. So that's another reason why you don't want to always, take the easy way out. It's okay to cut. It's okay to throw whatever into a little food chopper, a little food blender, and keep it simple. So the greens are going in on top of this. I'm gonna cover it. As soon as I cover it for about 1 minute, the greens are gonna shrink really nice, and all the juices from what we just cooked are gonna infuse those greens, and you're gonna have an amazing meal. So cooking more with less, enjoy yourself, and I'll see you guys in a second to show you the finished product. Okay, round 3, we are back. We're just taking those noodles and throwing it on top of what we just made. And you know what's funny, you guys? I had a beautiful red pepper. I was supposed to use it, and I didn't. I have a red pepper and some carrot that I usually grate just nice shreds on top. So you can add whatever you want. Forgot my red pepper, but I'm going on. I'm not rewinding. I'd rather move forward than rewind. And again, that happens. Sometimes you forget an ingredient and you're like, damn. But the meal's gonna be so good. Amour's not gonna miss it. I'm not gonna miss it. Leftovers aren't gonna miss it tomorrow. So I'm really grateful, really, really grateful for these moments. So what I'm gonna do to just add some color to the noodles, so you can see it's really coming together nicely. I'm gonna go on my spice cabinet and grab some turmeric, and I'm gonna do a little bit of some dry seasoning rub, just like a little bit of marjoram, parsley, and oregano. So I'm just throwing a little turmeric on top just to add some color to that and to bring out, a nice golden glow. You can use curry if you want, but the ginger and the curry is not my favorite with my noodles, funny enough. I know exactly what I like, and you modify, if you didn't have, of course, throw in, test around. You know what is really good? Quick little tidbit. What tastes really, really nice in like your spaghetti sauce is a dash of cinnamon. I don't know if people use cinnamon in their spaghetti sauce when they're making their spaghetti sauce, but it is so good. And I actually fell upon that on an accident. I remember grabbing my cinnamon one day and throwing it in there and going, oh! And literally, it tasted so good. I was like, boy. And that's how you figure out new stuff. So I'm gonna toss everything in here to show you guys the finished product. So pretty. All that good steam. Add a little Bragg's or a little soy sauce, a little tamari on top of there if you'd like. But this is it. So pretty. That's not doing it justice. But that's how I'm going to store it, because I'm trying to store more stuff in glass. And you don't have to kill yourself. Take a little time to transfer all your plastic Tupperware and make them glass. Do the most you can without breaking your neck. So I'm going to show what it looks like because Amour has not eaten. Amour did not eat yet. So this is it, you guys. Take a nice little moment to look at your food, see what you prepared. So simple though. And again, those red peppers, add a nice little color palette to it. But even if you don't, cooking more with less, Amour's gonna have at least, I would say like 12 grams of calcium folic acid. This definitely has around 11, 12. I'm gonna add a little sesame seeds on top. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but again, find out what you like. Not even $1, little 85-cent sesame seeds. Throw those on top for a nice little thing. I'm not gonna have any right now, so I'm gonna take a minute, but again, look at me. Throwing it in because Amour loves his little decoratives. What? So that's basically it. Little sesames on top of there. Boom, bam, bim. Cooking more with less. Enjoy your greens. If you do want to make a little bit of fish, fry your fish up with the same ginger, the same goodness, and then you can add it on top for those that want a little extra protein. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know if you guys want me to cook anything in specific or in particular, and see you guys soon. Much love.